This is the Garmin Asus NuviFone A50. It's a smartphone as well as a personal navigation device all in one. So on the surface it looks like any other Android device. It is running on Android 2.1, alright? And let me just talk a little bit about it from the perspective of a smartphone, alright? So you can see there's a custom user interface on it, and the display that it's running on is actually it's only 480 by 320, so this is not, it's not using one of those high resolution displays that you find on Android devices today. And it's a capacitive display as well as a capacitive buttons at the bottom with a 5-way navigation pad right here. This is a physical 5-way navigation pad, and the 4 buttons are touch sensitive. So back, you have the call button, you have the contextual button as well as the contextual menu button as well as the home button. Alright, so let's take a look at other parts of the phone. Oh, by the way, the touch sensitive buttons are backlit. You have a dedicated camera button. Alright, and so over here you have the volume control. Back here the power switch. This one is actually for the dock, which I'll show you later. Okay, this over here, this is a mini USB, not a micro USB, so this is kind of surprising as well. So this is a kind of like last generation USB port. Alright, you got a microphone over here. At the back here you have a 3 megapixel camera with autofocus. Alright, 3 megapixels. And here you have the speakers. So yeah, that's actually the hardware itself. And if you take a look at the software again, let me just run through the software. Alright, so as I mentioned, they actually customized the user interface, and you can see everything has its own, you know, they replaced all the icons and all the pictures and stuff like that. So, and the keyboard is your normal Android keyboard, right? Although they did customize it a bit, colorize it, make it a little pop out. But of course, the whole idea of this device, hold on, just hit the home button again. By the way, yeah, you probably noticed this, you can quickly jump between the screens. On this particular phone, there's 3 widget screens and 1 dedicated navigation kind of menu, alright, for the device. So the phone itself actually comes with this little dock which you can stick onto your car windshield, and all you have to do is that you just gotta plop it in like this, and immediately it will actually jump to this particular you know, GPS customized screen, and this is where all the GPS stuff happens. Alright, it comes built in, you know, without having you to download anything. It comes with the built-in maps for Singapore. Alright, of course if you buy it in Singapore, you buy it somewhere else, it will be, you know, whatever country that you bought it from. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the GPS side of things, the navigation part of this particular device. Justin, you've been testing the GPS unit for some time, so tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, I've tested it, you know, driving and using it to route my location into, you know, to get to where I want to go. So it is as simple as just, you know, clicking on here and browsing on, typing where you want to go. Okay, let's say Clementi, which is a place in Singapore, and it will go search for the location itself, and it takes some time to actually find the location. But one of the interesting things about this is it actually has its own GPS unit inside. Okay,
this database, in other words, its directory and maps and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it has its own directory, maps, and including getting GPS location itself. Right. So getting the GPS location, it doesn't use your 3G network or your 3G speed or whatever at all, right? So it's actually getting, it actually knows your GPS location from the device itself.
Yeah, and
it's not AGPS.
Correct. So in comparison, most smartphones actually use something called AGPS, which does use your data to find your location together with the GPS satellites.
Exactly, together with the GPS satellites and everything. So let's see, we found something, and all you want to do is, let's say for example, let's go to let's say
the IT, why not? Oh,
well, let's say the bus interchange. Okay, so you click on that and it will show you the bus interchange and everything. And this one of the interesting things, or rather one of the things that I don't feel comfortable with this personal navigation software thing, it's actually not as simple as any of the PNAs or PNDs that you actually buy specifically for your cars themselves. So when you actually take a, when you play with it, you will definitely realize that it has some of the features, but it doesn't bring it all the way there. So it's I would say it's not completely a personal navigation device that, if you're looking for one, right? However, it does have a very good enough routing software and everything, but I tried using it, comparing it together with my iPhone, with Google Maps routing and everything, right? And in fact, Google Maps gave me a more direct route than what this Garmin software actually gave me, which gave me like I have to turn left, turn right, turn up, turn down, turn everywhere in order to get to my location. Where, in fact, for Google Maps itself, it routed me through just as simple as going through the expressway and then turning out, and there I am, right? So I think the navigation software itself lacks, or rather requires a little bit more intelligence. So and I have used other personal navigation devices also for using the car also, and it doesn't do a lot of things, and I expected it, with a 3G network and everything, to actually get more information in terms of the traffic information and all that, right? And also more information in terms of the gantry, all our what's the gantry called?
The ERP gantries.
The ERP gantries, the taxes, all that stuff, right? So I wish it had all of that, which other dedicated personal navigation devices actually have in the market.
By the way, just to mention this, right? Because you say that this particular device doesn't use a GPS. It's not necessarily a good thing, because for example, right now, right, as you can see up here, it's having trouble getting the satellites because we are in a very building heavy area, right? We're right in the town, right, surrounded by buildings. So a GPS is actually supposed to be able to help you with this, because you can actually use the cell phone towers to help you locate your location. Whereas in this case right now, GPS is almost zero. So that is one issue. I think if they actually use a GPS, you will be able to get your locations much faster in a place like Singapore, specifically, where we are very building.
But however,
heavy.
when you're actually moving on the streets and everything, right, it actually tracks your location very, very well. So that in a way,
right, yeah.
If you're driving, it's perfectly fine. So we are in an indoor closed environment, so this is slightly different.
Okay, cool. And since it's combined with your Android device, you can actually pull out your friends' contacts and stuff like that, and it will be able to route.
Yes, directly.
Directly, since it's combined. And if you actually sync it with Google and then your contacts and all that, you get even more integrated experience in terms of syncing together. So I guess what it really just needs to work on a little bit is just the intelligence and
a little bit more country specific. For example, like people want to know how much ERP they want to go, rerouting in a way that
avoids ERP, for example.
To avoid ERP, avoid the less taxes, the shortest direction, the fastest way of going there. There is none. Well, almost I couldn't find. If there is this kind of functionality, I couldn't find it. So that's one of the few things that I wish it was there. But it isn't. So I can actually find better dedicated PNAs and PNDs out there in Singapore that provides me all this information, including traffic information also.
Okay. So that pretty much kind of gives you an idea of how well this GPS device actually works in Singapore specifically. I think it appears that this device was designed for something that's, say, United States or something like that, where you have less of these kind of very specific ERP.
And by the way, all you need to do is just press this button here to go to the navigation, and press this button to go back
to the widgets.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
So you can very quickly. And it actually shows you. Actually shows you. You can actually switch between an ongoing navigation.
Yes.
Routing between that and any other application. Yes. You can just stop routing halfway.
And another interesting thing is that if I go out of my route, right, or rather whatever they wanted me to route, right, to follow. Interestingly enough, it keeps rerouting me back to that path
instead of routing you based on the new location.
Yeah, exactly, based on the new location that I've gone to, which is sometimes for me it's very irritating because I know my way is shorter.
All right. Cool, thanks Justin. So that pretty much sums up the navigation, and this actually is a summary of the Garmin Asus NuviFone A50 smartphone slash navigation device. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, the package does come with the device itself, with a 4GB micro SD card, as well as this dock, alright, the charger, as well as a car charger, which is kind of cool. So you know, if you can actually just plug it into your car and it will charge. So yeah, so that's it for this episode of Gear65. If you like this video, be sure to check out all our other videos. You can find them, all of them, at www.tech65.org, and we will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.